you doing? What are you doing? What are you waiting on? Why haven't you started? I know you heard it. You keep hearing people say YouTube is monetizing small creators, and they are. What are you doing? What are you doing with your time? While you're looking at me, have you recorded? Have you hit the start button? Have you started your journey? Or are you still scrolling through watching everybody else start their channel? Come on, let's do better in 2025. But on another note, have you ever been at your job and you see people just do stuff that just, whew. Today was a good day, but then it became a questionable day. I had to run to grab my grandson because my daughter had to do something, and my job is a little liberal, so I was able to bring him back for just a few minutes. His mom was actually back in town to pick him up. But I had a co-worker come through. One of them cursed in front of him at first, and then she apologized. And then I had another co-worker who repeatedly decided that he was going to reprimand her, but then he just started cursing just to be cursing. Have you ever had something like that happen when he was like, oh, I'm sorry, but then you go back, you just start doing it, and you just cursing. And I'm normally the type of person that'll brush it off, but today was not one of those days. Today was not one of those days. I proceeded to send him a text. And I wasn't rude and I wasn't nasty. But I did want him to understand something. And I told him, I said, now I'm going to be a little different because my vocabulary is just a little larger and I don't have to use curse words, and I do not curse. But if I was the person that did curse and I understood that a small child was in my area, and I had addressed another person, I would not continue to do that. And I told him, I said, you have a small child. I would not have disrespected you and your child by doing this. Was I wrong? And later, he replied and said he apologized, it wouldn't happen again, and he's sorry. I'll forgive him, but the impression that you left, knowing who I am, what made it easier for you to do it today if you never did it any other day, and you always like, you're a woman of God and I give you that respect? What made you change your reactions today? Which brings me to another point, is that the enemy don't care who he uses. Some of us become his puppets, and when you become his puppets, you do whatever. I don't know if this was to prove to somebody something. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then after that, I had co-workers who normally do not come in my area just pop it up in my area. And the co-workers that were together said, you know, it's sad that people want to be in other people's business so much that they run around and tell things that don't even need to be told, just to see what the reaction is going to be. And I was like, you know, I didn't let that part get to me because I really didn't care about that part. Because at the end of the day, they know, I do my work. But it made me think more and made me push more. This is why I am pushing for my YouTube channel. This is why I'm pushing for my digital products. Because it comes a point where you have to understand or realize enough is enough. And when enough is enough, guess what happens? You start looking at other revenues, other streams of income to get you out of certain atmosphere, out of certain locations. Because really? I mean, that's all I was at today. And it just It bothered me. I'm not going to even sit here and say it did not bother me. That did bother me. That did bother me. And because I know a little bit about him, it just was very distasteful. It was very distasteful. So you need to start your YouTube channel, because I'm pretty sure I am not the only person that works on a job with people that do not value your standards. They do not value what you stand for. And they will tend to do things just to irritate you, just to push you to see whether or not you will actually stoop to their level. I'm being honest with you. I've had a boss and a coworker tell me before, oh, before it's over, I'm going to make you curse. No, you're not. Because I'm not that one that's going to say God this and I stand for him this, and then out of my mouth brings another language. Because the Bible tells us that that's not of him. Blessings and curses can't come out the same mouth. So I tend to sit back and observe in my surrounding, but I gave myself a time frame. And what I'm noticing is that they are helping me push toward that time frame even more. I'm just talking today because it's just work life. You're frustrated for you showing up for them. You doing all that you can, and it seems though it's not enough. They want more at you, but they don't want to give you any more pay. And you have to make the decision. Do I rely on them to give me a 25 cents pay increase or $1 pay increase? Or do I move on? And a lot of you all are in that situation where either you have got laid off, your job let you go, or you've been stuck at a job for 3 or 4 years with no increase in pay. You're doing the job, you have been moved around on the job, you're doing different things in the job, and still no increase. And you're at that point where enough is enough. Enough is enough. They show you they don't respect you or what you stand for. And you just have to make the decision. Is 20 minutes of my time or an hour of my time a day worth what I deal with throughout the day? And then you'll start realizing no. Because when you know you want better, when you know you want greater, and you see all of these things that are happening, you begin to understand, you know something, I'm not doing this. There's something else better for me, and I'm going to do what is better. So I encourage everyone, if you got a job that you just can't stand at times, you just hate sometimes. I enjoy some of the people I'm around. I enjoy some of the stuff I do. I just do not enjoy being disrespected. I don't enjoy being taken for granted. I do not enjoy being worked for pennies in so many sense. He has more of that, but you know what I'm saying. When you haven't had a raise in, I'm about at 3 years now, maybe 2. And the reason for them justifying not giving you one don't make sense. So I want you to take the time to really think about everything, and then ask yourself, do I hit the record button? Do I start this now? 'Cause you're the only one that's going to make it better for you. Stop allowing your job to tell you what to do. And you know the funny thing about it is that our job will tell us to report to work at 7 a.m. and you will report there. 6 a.m. and you will report there. Your job will tell you when you get to work, you need to stay an extra hour or 2 hours. And guess what happens? You stay. But you tell yourself, I'm going to put 20 minutes in the day for myself. And then you'll tell yourself later on, I'm tired. I don't have time. That's what we do. That's how we do. Let's change our focus. Let's change our process and how we're going to do things going forward. So today was just one of those days. Work life. But you have a good day until the next time. Lady T out.